What is going on, everyone? Welcome to or back to Ryder's Record Collection. My name is Carl, and the 2021 vinyl tag has been going around, so I figured I would hop on the train. Andrew from Tales from the Crate made this up, and I watched his video, and I really enjoyed it. So figured I'd hop on this bandwagon, and here's 20 questions about my record collection and my responses to them. So the first one was a discovery in 2020. I don't have this yet on vinyl. I want to buy it though, but it is the Alaz. They are an American rock band from Los Angeles, California, formed in 2008. And I guess all these people worked at Amoeba Records in LA, and they bonded over the same kind of music, and they made an album. And it's really good, but they are psychedelic rock, garage rock, folk rock and roll, surf rock, and jangle pop. And this is their self-titled album, so I will pick that up on wax here pretty soon. Next one was a quarantine buy. So when I'm a big fan of going to actual record stores, so when things closed down, I really didn't buy a lot of records. I think maybe I bought like 3, and you're gonna see one of them, but this was the first one I got, and this is the Growlers, Who Loves the Scum, backed by the End of the World. And I'm not a huge 45s guy, but I'm a sucker for the Growlers, and this thing is on blue vinyl, so that is a quarantine buy. So next is an LP that you want to find in 2021. I would like to find Miles Davis, A Kind of Blue. I went to a record store in 2020 and found one, and I didn't even look at it because it was $100 and I had just bought a record, so I skipped on that, and I've kind of kicked myself in the face for not even looking at it. So I'd like to find A Kind of Blue, Miles Davis 6i in 2021. So next is a box set. I don't really have any box sets. I'm not a box set guy. Maybe at some point, if there's an album that I love and adore and really, 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 love, and I can't even think of an artist or an album that's for, I might get one, but just not a huge box set guy. And then next is a concept album. So I think today is David Bowie's birthday. It is January 8th, 2021. So I picked David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust, and the Spiders from Mars. One of the only David Bowie records I like that I really listen to, but just a concept album about a space rock star that came to Earth and blew everyone's minds. His name is Ziggy Stardust. The Spiders from Mars are his band, and gets a big ego and famous and has a big great demise. So concept album. Next is an album where the artist or band changed directions. This took me a minute, but this is this album, the band did a complete turn from their previous. This is the Arctic Monkeys, Tranquility Base Hotel at Casino, and I remember when this came out. I was in New York City for my birthday, and I was there on May 10th, which was my birthday, and I flew out on May 10th. But this was going to drop, and there was a pop-up on May 11th in New York City in Manhattan. And if I was there on the 11th, I would have been there. But this, compared to their previous album, AM's like stadium arena alternative rock, and it's really good. It's really catchy. They were true to their roots, but really great album. This is, I don't know why I put that down. This is just a huge huge left turn. It's it talks about space and cell phones and just it's like Batmobiles. It's weird. It's good. Okay, next is a white label promo. I don't know where I got this, but this is the Grateful Dead American Beauty, and this is a white label promo that I found somewhere. So, a white label promo. Okay, next is a compilation album. And when I read this question, I thought it would have been a greatest hits. And if it was, I was going to show the White Stripes greatest hits. But when I watched Andrew's video from Tales from the Crate, he meant like a compilation album, and he picked out an acoustic Black Crowes album that was renditions of all the songs. So that made me go with Cage the Elephant Unpeeled, which is a live concert where they redid all of their songs acoustically in really, really small, intimate settings. But it's their first 3 albums re-recorded, but a compilation album, and it takes all their music and does it completely in a new way. An album that tells a story. Again, if I didn't watch this video, I would have gone with like Tommy or something like that actually tells a story, but then he told a story with his album, so this made me go with Van Morrison Moondance. So this album I had never really been able to find out in the wild, basically. And the record store that I go to, that's basically my favorite record store in town, I told this to them, and it was the first year that they opened, and on like January 3rd, I got a message on Instagram, and they were like, hey, come into the shop. And they had wrapped this up and given it to me as a Christmas present. So that is an album with a really, really cool story. So next is an album that needs a vinyl pressing. So there's a band called Perfect Confusion that released one album, and they were Cage the Elephant before they actually got a record deal and became Cage the Elephant. I think they made it when they were in maybe high school or college, or then they didn't do it for a couple of years, then they signed a record contract and went to London. But I will show you the cover of this album because it's great. It's like Cage the Elephant pre their debut, and you can stream it on YouTube and on iTunes. But this really, 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 really needs to get put on record. It is on vinyl. It's awesome. It's just great rock and roll. If you're a fan of just good old Americana rock and roll, check this album out. It's pretty kick-ass. So next is a common and an uncommon album. So for this, I tried to do albums that were in the same era. So this, I think, came out in 1967, and it is the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, which I think you can find if you look at a lot of record stores. The sleeve's tight on that, so I'm not going to take it off. But then this came out in 1969, and it is the Stooges' self-titled debut. And this is a 1980s repress, but these are really hard to find, and even a 1980s repress. There's not a lot of original copies of this. Next up is an EP, and this is Oliver Tree, the Alien Boy EP, and this thing kicks. The beats on this album are just on vinyl with a good system, kick ass. This is a killer EP, so an EP. Okay, and then we've got an all-girls group. I don't have an all-girls group. And to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of female vocalists. That's something that I'd like to change. My fiance kind of gets on me on that a lot because I've got a very male-dominated record collection. So I like Amy Winehouse and I like some female vocalists in jazz, but don't have an all-girls group. So if anybody recommends any, let me know because I'm down to check them out. Okay, an album cover you love. I wanted to go with Abbey Road for this, but I used to have a poster of this when I was in high school. Green Day Dookie. This thing is just, there's so many jokes on here. Like, the blimp says bad year, eat it, Chef Wong's. There's a dog throwing poop and a fly is going to ask him to eat it. It's just, there's so much on here, and if you have it, it's like a cartoon. It's great. Okay, next is an album that you listen to the most. And that's really hard, but I go back to Sublime a lot. Specifically, I go back to Sublime's last studio album. This is just kick-ass. I love Sublime. 40 Ounces to Freedom's awesome too, but this is just developed Sublime at their prime. Side 1 is Garden Grove, What I Got Wrong Way, Same in the End, April 29th, 1992. Not a bad song. Side 2, Santeria C, Jailhouse Pawn Shop. Not a bad song. Side 3, Paddle Out, Ballad of Johnny Butt, Burritos. Burritos is an underrated song. Under My Voodoo, Get Ready. Not a bad song. Caress Me Down, What I Got, Reprise, and Doing Time. So, an album that I've listened to the most. An album you had to get an OG copy of. This was an album that I got really into high school, really into when I was like 8th grade, freshman in high school. And when I started to collect records, I heard about this album, this pressing of it, the original pressing with the censored cover. And I had to get one. I had to get an OG of this. It was one of the first when I probably had 60 or 70 records in my collection. It was one of the ones that I had, but I had to have an OG of this one. Okay, the last album you purchased. This is, actually I haven't even cleaned it yet, but this is Steely Dan, Greatest Hits. Nice double LP. So last album I purchased actually last weekend at the record store. Okay, an album they don't get. There's some people in the VC that get this because I've heard a lot of people talk about this, but none of my friends get this. My dad's was like, what is this? But the Zombies, Odyssey, and Oracle. I really like this. Dylan from Noble Records talks about this album a lot, and it's one of his favorites, I think. And I see why. It's hard not to dance to this song. And I think I showed this in another video, but the variant I have just makes it even better. So nobody else seems to get it, but I love it. Okay, this is a nice segue. For me at least, from, the Zombies, Odyssey, and Oracle to a punk album, the Sex Pistols. This is just a quintessential album, I think, in anyone's collection. Anarchy in the UK, and it's a killer album. Okay, and then last is your favorite 2020 reissue. I don't really keep up on that kind of stuff. If there's something that I want, I'll go on Discogs and I'll shop around and make my decision that way. But most of the used records I buy, I really enjoy going to record stores. Like, I don't really have a want list. I mean, I have some quintessential like classic albums that I want to get, but for the most part, I just go out and shop and buy whatever's there and whatever kind of calls me that day. So I don't really keep up with that kind of stuff, but I watched some other videos on this, and some people said their favorite albums of 2020. So for that, I got to go with Tame Impala, the Slow Rush. It's another really tight sleeve, so I'm not going to take it off. But this album is killer. So there's 20 questions, 20 answers about my record collection. Again, my name is Carl. This is Ryder's Record Collection. If you like this video, please throw it a like. If you like this channel, please check out some of my other videos. I talk music, I talk gear. I'm just growing it. So if you check me out, I'd really appreciate it. And if you like it, please subscribe. Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for checking this out. I'll have some more content out for you guys soon. And be easy. Cheers. Thanks. Wait, one more thing. Andrew from Tales from the Crate. Thank you for putting this on. I appreciate it. Thanks for the questions. They were great. Have a good one, guys. Bye.